Hello, my name's Ben.
My name's Josh.
Welcome back to FPL Graduates. Welcome back to another video where today we're going to be having a look into Josh's current FPL draft for this season. As always, remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into Josh's team.
Okay then, so kicking off into my team, David Raya is in goal, the same keeper that Ben had in his latest draft. If you haven't seen that video yet and you want to see Ben's team, do check it out because it was uploaded a couple of days ago now. David Raya, as we mentioned, cheapest route into that Arsenal defence for very little rotation risk. Obviously not going to get the most saves in the world, so you are sort of banking on that clean sheet, but yeah, I think he's a solid option and covers that Arsenal defence off really, really nicely, which is what you want to do at the start of this season, as they were so good defensively last season. Moving into the defence, we've got 4.5 million Mikalenko. Obviously, again, Everton's defence last season was really good. 13 clean sheets for them and one of the highest expected goals conceded in the league in terms of being a solid defence under Sean Dyche. So Brighton at home, first game of the season, will be interesting because obviously this Brighton side has got a new manager, potentially a new way of playing. Will that be installed ready for game week 1 away at Goodison? We'll have to wait and see. Luke Shaw's up next, and this is sort of a 50-50 at the minute between him and Munoz from Crystal Palace. At the moment, I've gone with Shaw because if he is fit to start in game week 1, I will choose him just because him and Marcus Rashford on that left-hand side for Man United have been really, really solid over the years, and I think the attacking threat from Shaw will be decent for United this season. I think United in general are improving, getting some good signings, so they should hopefully get a few more attacking returns this season. And then Trent Alexander-Arnold is my final defender, £7 million on him. It'll be interesting to see how he slots into this Arnie slot, pun intended, system. Obviously, Gertruda last season finaled. He got, I think, like 13 attacking returns, and years gone by, he's not been known for any sort of attacking threat. So it'll be interesting to see what he can get out of Trent Alexander-Arnold, obviously known for his attacking ability in that side. And obviously, we won't see too much of it in pre-season, so it's almost just going into that great fixture run, obviously Ipswich away, straight away. And then on the bench, I've got Gvardiol. He will be benched for the first game of the season, the Chelsea away, but then Man City's fixtures after that do get a little bit better, which is always nice. And again, if he sort of starts the season the way he finished the last, I think he'll again be one of those sort of template bandwagon picks because he was literally playing like left wing for Man City by the end of the season. And then we've got Wout Faes to round off that defence, £4 million. Between him or Harwood Bellis, I think at the moment, obviously, he probably won't see the light of day with given how premium I've gone in defence. But yeah, what's your thoughts on that, Ben?
Yeah, decent. I mean, the rotation will probably be there where you have sort of Mikalenko, etc., coming in and out of the team. We'll see how Everton's set up this season. Hopefully, it's similar to last year. Trent Alexander-Arnold's a really interesting pick. Hopefully he'll be ready for the start of the season with a sort of a little bit of an extended break for him. So you just have to wait and see with that. If there's any chance that he potentially might not start the season, then it's an easy move out, and you can almost free up a little bit of funds to go a bit more premium in other areas of the team. Luke Shaw, I don't mind at all. Again, a little bit of a wait and see sort of how fit he comes back into the United team. If he is sort of fit and ready to go, then that's perfect. And it gives you sort of decent option to have off the bench as well with Guardiola, so don't mind that at all. All in all, fairly strong start to your team.
Okay then, so moving into my midfield, we're going to start off with probably mine and Ben's favourite £6.5 million option at the moment, and it's Brennan Johnson. Some really good attacking data, as we did show in the best midfielders video. Make sure you go check that out if you're struggling to pick some good midfielders at the moment. But yeah, it looks really good in pre-season as well. I think at the moment his minutes are fairly secure. That's unless Spurs do buy someone. So again, like Ben mentioned with sort of Shaw and Trent, it's a bit of a wait and see what they do in the transfer market. Obviously, the transfer market doesn't close until I think it might be game week 3, I do believe. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that. But for me, I'll probably have him for the opening 2 games and then move him on to maybe a Leon Bailey, just because the fixtures for Spurs after the opening 2 do get a little bit tricky. So that's my current thought process with Brennan Johnson at the moment. Eze's in there. He's probably like the least likely to stay out of all of these midfielders at the moment. I don't think he's a bad option. He's definitely talismanic for Crystal Palace, but I'm just unsure on who's sort of playing around him from game week 1. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that. And I also don't think the fixtures to start the season necessarily in the opening couple are necessarily the best for Crystal Palace, despite longer term they are quite decent. Anthony Gordon, as we mentioned, is just super good, underpriced potentially at 7.5 million, and the opening 2 for Newcastle are ridiculous. And Nkunku's in there, for me, could be potential game breaker at 6.5 million. Obviously £4 million cheaper than Cole Palmer, and even when he played a small amount last season, his expected data was really good. Obviously, we've seen what he can do in the Bundesliga. It's just whether he can stay fit, which is the biggest question mark about him. And then Bruno Fernandes rounds off the midfield, not only because some decent fixtures for United to start the season. I expect them to start off well until they go into sort of a more trickier patch facing, I think, Liverpool in game week 3. But also, he allows me pretty easily to move up to a Phil Foden, Bukayo Saka, Cole Palmer, Heung-min Son, whoever it may be that I need to sort of move up to. Admittedly, there is no Mo Salah in this draft, which is obviously a big question mark. For me, I think going with one of them is sort of going to be my play, because you can't captain 2 players every single week. So I think at 12.5 million, having someone who I won't be captaining consistently, I just think going with Haaland for me is a little bit better. What's your thoughts on the midfield, Ben?
Yeah, the thought process of sort of the premium options does make sense. I think it's a fairly solid midfield as well. I have the same sort of question marks over Eberechi, Eze myself in terms of sort of where Palace are going to go and where these attacking returns are going to come from, other than Eze, and who's going to finish off those chances. But I think Gordon, Johnson and Nkunku equally have such a high ceiling with their potential returns. Gordon doesn't really have anything that's sort of putting me off him, but obviously Johnson and Nkunku have sort of variables in there that can change decisions. But there's so many options at that price point that you could probably interchange pretty easily between any of them. And Bruno Fernandes, of course, was so consistent in sort of his output and his expected data. Let's see if those around him can help him convert those into actual sort of returns.
And to round off the team then, and it's basically the same front 2 that pretty much everyone has. It's Alexander Isak at like 55% owned at the time of recording. At the moment, he will be my captain for game week 1, just because that fixture is so nice with Southampton at home at St James's Park. Happy to captain him over Haaland, who's facing Chelsea away, which tends to be quite a tricky fixture for Manchester City. They don't tend to always win at Stamford Bridge. And then obviously the captain will just revert back to Haaland come game week 2 for that Ipswich at home fixture. And again, Haaland, I just think is so criminally under-owned at the moment. The fact that I cannot captain him in game week 1 and probably still get some decent chunk of green arrow is really, I'm really happy about it. So yeah, I'm happy to have both of those in the team. Ben, you have the same 2 as well, don't you? So what's your thoughts on them?
Yeah, decent front 2 and probably sort of one that you can gain from, and Isak is actually probably the more sensible captain pick for you in the game week 1, which is mental to say considering, but you can get away with captaining either of those 2 strikers in game week 1, and you'll make a decent return on your investment on it, and probably make quite a few gains if either of them return. So yeah, really like the strike force there.
Yeah, and just to round things off on the bench, obviously Turner, again, like Ben mentioned in his video, just a placehold £4 million keeper. We don't have any that will play at the moment. Same could be said for the 4.5 million strikers as well. I think Ross Stewart might be the most likely to get some minutes, but equally he was injured all of last season after Southampton brought him in, so I wouldn't expect too many minutes or get your hopes up in that regard either. Okay then, so that wraps up my FPL draft at the moment. Let me know what you think about me not having Mo Salah in the comments. Am I going absolutely crazy, or do you think there is method behind my madness? Let me know. Equally as well, if you want your team reviewed, Manager of the Month prizes, and loads of other benefits, definitely check out the Patreon down below. It's honestly one of the best things that I think me and Ben do with our spare time in the FPL community, so make sure you check that out.
Absolutely. And as always, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the FPL Graduates. I've been Ben.
I've been Josh.
We'll see you guys
later. Have a good pre-season, everyone.
So you